Yeah, well, hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Um, Devlog 2 now. The reason is because my list of things which I did in the last 3 days is already becoming pretty long, and I don't want to make these devlog videos too long. So I do now already the next devlog. So what did I do in the last 3 days? I was doing optimizations. At least I started to begin. I started to tackle this issue with frame drops and so on. I noticed then in the end that that it's not really something in the game. It's more like something inside of the Unity editor which causes the frame drops. And right now I don't know how to fix that, to be honest. It's called something like update CB or something. It's inside the update scene of this editor. And yeah, probably I will have to export all my 3D models out of this project and import it into a new clean empty project. And yeah, shouldn't test too many assets inside my project. But it happened like this because I was in the beginning, first time, starting a game. And so I tested out all kind of assets which could help me building my game. So probably one of these assets, which I probably don't use anymore, but it's still somewhere around in my project, is causing this mess. Probably, I don't know. I will see if it gets fixed if I export everything and import it in a new project. If it works, then we know that it's something like another asset which caused this, or it's something in the scene. Yeah. So, but nevertheless, it didn't stop me from creating in-game optimizations, like creating LOD groups for plants and trees. I use assets for this. I don't do them in Blender or something else. It would just take too long. So I bought the asset called Polyview. I bought this asset inside a bundle of Unity. Unity was offering once a bundle, and it was included in that bundle. And Polyview makes it incredibly easy for you to create LOD groups and reduces the meshes and so on. So actually you click on your game object, your new 3D model, and I turned this off, but automatically it attaches itself to the game object. So in my case I have to type in here Polyview host, and you just click actually for creating a LOD group here on automatic LOD, you change here some settings to your liking, how extreme, how aggressive it should reduces the triangles, and you can change here some else settings, like that it should preserve UV fold over and so on and so on. You can just click everything, and then you just hit generate LODs, and it's done. Everything in one click actually done. And I like this very much. It helps a lot with scene optimization in a very quick way, and you don't have to go each asset here one by one and attach this game object to it. You just mark them all here, and then you just click add Polyview host, and then click on generate LODs, and then it creates for all these marked game objects the LOD group. Really amazing, this tool. I like it. I can recommend it to everyone actually. It speeds up the whole process. So I did this for the plants, I did this for the trees, but I did not do this for the rocks here. The reason is that I guess, yeah, it's not really a reason. It's just because I don't understand so much the system, to be honest. Because I used another asset called Mesh Combiner, which I bought in a Unity bundle, and I combined these rocks to one mesh to reduce the draw calls. I'm not sure if I can do then here also a kind of LOD group with this one big mesh. I still haven't tried it out. I still didn't dare to try it out. I will have to do it, and probably in the next days I will try it, and then I will tell you if it worked or not. Yeah, for the rocks I didn't use LOD groups. I used Mesh Combiner and combined them into one mesh. For every tree here I use one material, or at least I try to reduce the material count of the trees and the plants and so on. So to use this feature called GPU instancing, so that it also reduces draw calls. But I use not the standard shaders and renderers for the nature here. Again, another asset called Nature Renderer, which I use for the terrain rendering to reduce draw calls. It was also included in the Humble bundle, in the recent one for Unity Humble bundle, and this asset actually increased my frame rate by roughly about 30%, so it's incredible. And for grass, when I started this map, then I used the standard texture grass, which you can use with the terrain tool of Unity, which you can then just paint here on the terrain. I changed this later to GrassFlow, which is a DirectX 11 grass system, and which paints here all this kind of grass here. It's actually also just a 2D texture, which I just added to GrassFlow, which we have here, GrassFlow terrain. And yeah, then you have DirectX 11 grass, which reacts to your player. For example, you have to attach then a kind of script, and then it reacts to your player and to physics as well, or to your mouse, depending on if you activate it. The advantage of using GrassFlow in this case is, of course, it speeds up the whole, not speeds up, it optimizes, of course, the resources as well, instead of using the terrain version. Probably it doesn't matter so much because of Nature Renderer, which I use also. But before I had Nature Renderer, I used the standard Unity terrain renderer and GrassFlow. So that's the reason why I have no GrassFlow and Nature Renderer. Yeah, and I didn't want to remove GrassFlow. I like it somehow, because the grass, you can change it to your likings. This 2D texture actually is just one simple 2D texture, and then you can paint it and change it with this GrassFlow train tools. Yeah. So what else did I do? Light probes. I wanted to put some light probes here all over this map. Doing this manual takes too much time, so I will use a tool called Magic Light Probes, which places them actually automatically into to the scene. You just draw here a box on this whole terrain, and then it places them all over where it's needed. Yeah, on this terrain, which speeds up also the whole process, because this is what matters, time, you know. You can spend hours. Actually, if you want to do everything yourself, you could spend years as solo developer like me. If I would have to handle all those 3D models without buying them in Asset Store, or without buying base meshes from places like Art Station and so on, then yeah, I think I would never be able to finish this game at all. Especially since I'm here alone doing this. Yeah. So, what else do I have here? For rendering, yeah, I right now I just can't remember if I mentioned that. If I mentioned this already, then I will probably cut it out now of this video. But when you use LOD groups, I created, as I mentioned already, I created LOD groups with Polyview, so that every plant and every tree has an LOD group. And when you use that with the standard speed tree or unity tree shader, then they lose the ability of wind motion. So to fix that, I am using Vegetation Engine, which uses its own shaders for the plants and the trees. And yeah, Vegetation Engine, I bought this also in a Unity bundle. I think it was in a Unity bundle or in a Humble bundle, I don't know, but it was in a bundle. I can everyone recommend these tools because they will help you a lot speeding up the creation of your maps, terrains or environments. And as I say, this is what matters. Time matters a lot, because as more time you spend on things and it feels like it doesn't go forward, then you lose motivation. And I encountered this already a few times, that I sat in front of my computer or laptop in this case, and just thought, I actually don't want to do that right now. It's so tedious. You need sometimes some days off, but it's crucial to get somehow keeping up the motivation high. So what helped me really the most was this guy who created this game called, I think, The One Tree, something like that. I never played his game, but the idea which he had and which he uses, or his philosophy, was to have never a 0% day. And to be honest, yeah, this works the best. If you feel like you have actually no motivation to do anything, but you say yourself at least 1% you could do, then you usually do then in the end more than 1%. So things go forward, and that's a really cool idea, this never have a 0% day. Yeah, and I used this idea for my game here, and it helped me a lot. Next topic. Optimization so far all done. Fighting scene. I was talking about the fighting scene. I can't remember right now if I already introduced to you the fighting scene. The reason is because it's already the third time that I try to record this video. First two times, yeah, something messed up my recordings, and yeah, then I had to re-record it. So I'm not quite sure right now if I mentioned this already, but if not, then I will cut it out again. And so I will start now to tell you something about the fighting scene. I think I have not, in this take, this third attempt of recording my video, I have not started the game so far. Or? I'm really not sure. So, menu, load, save 3, so that we can skip all this old stuff there. So, I changed here this idle stance of him when he goes into the fighting mode. The combinations here works now. It's 5 hits here. Left, right, left, right, left. So it's actually 2 high punch, 2 low punch, and a hook. And the hook itself triggers then, or enables another fighting ability, and this one enables another fighting ability if you hit the enemy. So let's see how this looks like right now. So here comes the enemy. The enemy is controlled completely, the movement, by Adventure Creator. I just use here actually that this mutant, yeah, follows me. I use here a trigger in this case. He has a big trigger here, 15 meters in radius. So if I enter this trigger, then he actually just, yeah, follows the player. That's what the actionist says. And so that's why he just walks to me. The attacks on the other side are completely done by ABC tool. And yeah, these both in combination creating this kind of AI which just follows and hits you. It's nothing special, nothing cool right now. Maybe I will replace it with Emerald or any other solution. But right now I'm fine with it, especially with this guy. And to be honest, I don't plan so many fighting scenes in this point-and-click adventure. It's actually, as I said in the last video, 90% point-and-click adventure and 10% yeah, action RPG, something like that. So let's hit this guy. Left, right, left, right. Oh, now he hits me. So my hits have a possibility of roughly about 50% to stop him from attacking me. I'm still playing around with the settings here. But so far it's not so clunky anymore. What I will change is that, for example, if I make a roundhouse kick, then he gets knocked down or pushed back, or now I'm dead. Or when I do a hook, then it plays another animation where it where the movement is then according to the punch, you know. So this is all possible to do for me with ABC tool, and I will do that also in the next days. So actually when we go here in the mutant game object and PCs here, mutant, then we look here in the state manager, hit animations, then you can set here different hit animations depending on what kind of ability has hit him. So it's very easy to do, very fast, and that's what I will do today. What else? I'm not sure if I have showed you last time. No, I didn't. I do it now. I show you right now a kind of dialogue which I have here in the game, because my devlog is not only about things which I fixed or done. It's also about some features which I implemented. And for example, when you talk with her, she has actually a greeting trigger for saying hi, because depending on, you can have relationships with NPCs. And some NPCs don't like it to see if you have with them a with another person a relationship. So there's a kind of rivalry in the game. And for this behavior in the background, I use another asset called Law of Hate. And yeah, this helps me realizing this kind of feature in my game, where you can start romancing NPCs, and when you romance this one, then the other one who hates you, the other one loves you more, or something like that, you know, because there are also factions. There are 3 factions inside the game called the Humans, the Equilibrium, and the Void. And some like each other, some not, and so depending on which faction actually in the later game you join, so this means also they react different to you, and this means also that you have different story endings. I'm not sure if I should actually spoiler here the story. I just do it right now. If you don't want to hear any spoilers, then probably you should not listen or you should stop listen to my devlogs, I think. Yeah, I make it like that. If you don't want to hear any spoilers, just don't subscribe to my channel and don't watch the devlogs. Spoiler alert. People who end up in this world, in this jungle, it doesn't have to be a jungle, it's just somewhere in this universe where you end up and waking up. The reason why you end up there is because you are dead. People who are dead waking up there, they don't know that they actually died, because after they in the world where we live, when they die in this place and then they wake up in this new universe, they don't remember the process, or the process of dying. And they all died in a kind of event, and I'm still not sure which kind of event I will use for that, so I don't want to talk much about it. It's just kind of event where they died, these people, and that's the reason why they wake up here. And then you meet her, and then you start your relation. I actually just noticed that I mixed here something up. Actually, I just wanted to tell you that you can start relationships with these guys and so on. I still have not found here a kind of rule for myself how I introduce new things to you, so everything is a bit messed up. I hope you feel not too confused about this. Let's go back to relationships. So I can, for example, introduce myself. It's German because I'm German, and all the text which I'm writing here is then the chance that the grammar is correct is then higher as if I would write it in English. So my plan is, as I said already in the last video, is that I will let it translate by a native speaker, and it will also be translated to Japanese, and full audio is also planned in Japanese. I don't know if I make any other language, but full audio is planned only in Japanese, with then English subtitles or German subtitles or Japanese subtitles. So you can introduce yourself, and I can choose then that I come straight to the point, or I introduce myself first and talk a bit about what just happened and so on. So I'm nice now, a nice guy, and I introduce myself. And as I said in my last video, I use voice snippets from the Unity Asset Store, Japanese voice snippets which just fit. And here's this situation. I couldn't pause it now, but this was the situation where it's kind of quick time event where you have the chance then to flirt with her. It just pops up for 3 seconds or 2 seconds where you have to make a decision, and if you don't make any decision, then it just goes on, you know, with the dialogue. And you were able then to flirt with her or to insult her because of something, you know. And when you flirt with her, then they have here some kind of status. The status here is created by love-hate, and they get aroused. I think the other one's depressed or something, and happiness and so on. All these values changes depending on what decisions you make, and depending on this I think it's called PAD, PAD meter. Depending on this values, you will have different dialogue options. And also I was mentioning, when you talk with her the first time, or not the first time, but when you come into the knee of her, then she triggers a kind of greeting event, and you trigger a kind of greeting event when you go into her knee. And depending on if she likes you or hates you, the greeting is all the time different, you know. So this matters because, why does it matter? Because if it's, here I'm inspired by the game called Knights of the Old Republic, where your decisions were not only influencing yourself in your appearance and in your story progress, but also you were able to manipulate your followers or the people around you. And this is also possible in my game. So, spoiler again, Triska, has a tendency to self-destruction. And because of this tendency, she struggles later in the game about many things, and she probably makes then a wrong decision, or depending on your style, how you play the game, if you're evil mind or if you're good mind or whatever, or which faction you join, it's good or bad. But she probably joins then the Void faction, and then her whole appearance and behavior changes 180 degrees. And she becomes then a very sarcastic, kind of person, you know, which dominates people around her. And also her appearance completely changes, and so on, and how people react to her, and so on and so on. Yeah, and so it depends on if you're nice to her, and it's not that easy actually. If you're just nice to her, then you have a good relationship with her. But you can be nice to her also if she joins the Void faction, because you can also have then with this sarcastic being a relationship. It's not only with this human form which she has that you can have a relationship, but also with this new shape of her, a new form of her, where you can have a relationship. So it's not all just that simple that you have to be nice or bad to a person to change the path of how they go, you know. It depends also on certain actions which you did to other persons. For example, if you get a romance, if you start to romance her and it reaches a certain threshold, then she will become jealous. And this causes, like these voices in her head to rise up, which makes her insane. And as more she thinks, as more bad your actions become, because she doesn't talk with you about her, what she thinks, what you do, or something like that, you know. And she's this kind of person. And for example, if this, let's say, a love meter has reached a certain level and you flirt then or talk too much with another person, it's just already talking is already too much, then it can lead her to go another way, you know. It's like that she joins the Void faction or the Equilibrium faction or whatever, or that she starts to hate you, or that she develops a kind of hate-love to you, you know. So like where she is like a person with two personalities or something like that. This is, it sounds all sounds a bit complex and maybe exciting what is to come here, but it's also not so difficult actually to make this with the help of this asset called Love Hate and its implementation into, because it supports Adventure Creator, so you can use it directly without any hassle. And so that's it so far about how I can influence people here. What else can I say? My problem is still being fluent in English, because I'm not that fluent in English. I always make these grammar mistakes. I hope you are not too angry about it. But if you want to correct me, you can write it in the comments down below. What else do I have to mention? Cutscenes. Of course, this game has cutscenes, and some cutscenes will be in 2D, because an anime game has to have a kind of anime style drawing, 2D style inside this game, and if it has not this kind of thing inside it, it's not really for me an anime game, at least in my sense, you know. So there are some cutscenes, probably only the loot scenes, which are drawn, 2D drawn, and I will animate them inside Unity to give them a bit motion. And they will be drawn by ScarlettAnn. At least that's my plan right now. I contacted her already, and she seems okay with that. I'm also her Patreon, so you can join her Patreon as well. I show you now her DeviantArt website, which is here, ScarlettAnn 1028, and I like her art style. It fits to this 3D art style of mine, and I think she will draw these loot scenes exactly like they should be. If you wanna support her on the Patreon, you can do that. You can find her link, then the Patreon link of her, in the description down below. And I think that's it so far. But if you think you want to see a different kind of art style, 2D art style, then you can make suggestions in the comments of artists which you would consider for your game. But I think 99% that I will go with her art style. Light probes, I think this is also already something which I mentioned. Quick time events. That's it so far. Devlog 2 is finished. maybe you want to see a bit more about the game, so I will now make this game in full screen. I'm still struggling a little bit here with the software stuff, with the technical things. I hope that in the later videos and devlogs I will become faster and more, yeah, fluent, I would say, in managing these systems. But right now I try to, yeah, turn off the webcam. I can't find a button for it. Okay, here is it. Then the browser. So now I need to make this game larger. So let's see. Let's talk with her a little. Let's ask her, how did we get here? Then she says, I don't know. I was at a party and she went on the balcony and so on, and then suddenly she wakes up here. Yeah, but as I said, there was a kind of event for everyone, or it's, I don't know if it's actually one big event, it's still something which I'm not sure. Yeah. Well, she doesn't know it, and now I ask her if she has something to eat with her. Because we don't know how long we are here. We are in this jungle, how long? So she says, yeah, I got something. A package of chewing gums. And she's very hungry. Because she didn't eat anything. And then he says, yeah, let's see. Maybe I can find something. Then I ask her, what else did she notice? And then she says she was in totally panic mode. And when I was still in this kind of, yeah, sleeping mode, then she was hearing some strange noises which made her totally frightened, and then suddenly everything was silent and she was hiding behind a bush, and she feels like she getting observed. So I made this kind of change here in the camera so that a kind of creature with red eyes is here and observes her, and that she feels like that she gets observed. And later in the game there is a creature which goes then to her, which is the fighting scene, you know. That is actually the creature which observed her. So here I ask for the kaugummis, I would say, for the chewing gum, if she wants to give me that. And then she says no, because then she has nothing. And I have to give her something if I want to get the chewing gums. I'm still not sure if I implement then here something like that I can force her to give me the chewing gums, or that I create some multiple objects which we can give to her, that she is satisfied with it, that she gives us the chewing gums. Right now there's one spoiler again, so be aware. You can get some bananas, and with these bananas she will be okay, and then she gives you the chewing gum. For what do I actually need the chewing gum? Well, for making a dart which you shoot then to an enemy. So you use this chewing gum inside the pipe to, yeah, get some, I don't know the English word for that, sorry, but it's needed for, yeah, shooting this arrow, this dart, you know. So you will pick up then this bamboo here, which you use then later for shooting this dart. Then you make a dart where you need a knife for that, and then you cut some branches to make them into darts, and then you put the chewing gum on this dart end, and then you go here and you check out this black liquid, which you realize that it's oil, and you put the arrow with the chewing gum in there so that it becomes lubricated, you know, and then you put it into the pipe, and then your shooting device against the other mutant is ready. So I think this is right now enough. Otherwise I don't have to show you it. Yeah, well, actually there's still a lot to see actually in this scene, but I will do it in later devlogs. About the style of my devlogs, I want to keep them as raw as possible, because I don't want to spend too much time cutting these videos or editing these videos, because my main focus is actually creating this game, and making them videos would be then too time consuming, and yeah, it would slow down the creation process of my game. Yeah, in the next days, what I will release, probably tomorrow, is another little quick tutorial video. So stay tuned. I hope you subscribe to my channel, and see you next time.